So welcome everyone to the afternoon session. So the first talk will be given by Dr. Soumen Maiti from IISER Pune. He is going to talk on this title is in front of you, Maximum Minimal Defensive Alliance in Graph. So Soumen, over to you. We have started the recording.
Okay, thanks Chandrasil. Well, so I'll talk about this maximum minimal defensive alliance in Graph. And this is a joint work with Ajinkya Gaikwad. So he is a Prime Minister Research Fellow at IISER Pune. So I'll start with the definition of what is a defensive alliance in a graph. So a non-empty set S is a defensive alliance in graph G if this condition is true for every vertex in S. So what is this condition? This is the degree of the vertex V in the set S plus 1. This number is greater than or equal to the degree of the vertex outside S. That means every vertex in S has the number of neighbors of vertex V in S, including itself, is more than or equal to the number of neighbors it has outside S. So then, if this is true, then the vertex is called protected, and if this is true for every vertex in S, then S is called a defensive alliance. So I'll give an example here. So this P has considered this graph. And here PQ forms a defensive alliance because you can see that the P has the number of neighbors that P has inside S, including itself, is 2, P and Q, and the number of neighbors it has outside S is 1. Similarly, this is true for, so P is protected, and similarly Q has 2 neighbors, including itself in S, and it has only 1 neighbor outside S. So both P and Q are protected, and so they form a defensive alliance in this graph. So whereas only P does not form a defensive alliance because it has only 1 neighbor, P itself, in the set S, and outside it has 2 neighbors. So this condition is not true. So P is not protected. So P does not form a defensive alliance. Okay. So clearly, this is a medicine problem because if you consider all the vertices in the graph in your set S, and that form a defensive alliance. So for the smallest size defensive alliance. Okay, so in real life, an alliance is a collection of people, group, or states such that the union is stronger than individual. And the alliance can be either to achieve some common purpose or to protect against attack. In graph, this is that we ask is there is a defensive alliance of size less than or equal to L. So it's a minimization problem. And it is known that given a graph, finding a smallest defensive alliance is an NP-complete problem. Okay, so that means won't have an efficient algorithm to find the smallest size defensive alliance in a graph. Okay, so what we do here today is that we'll consider minimal defensive alliance. So a defensive alliance S is minimal if no proper subset of S is a defensive alliance. Okay, and we look for the maximum defensive alliance because we always look for a bigger sized defensive alliance. But still, every member in the alliance is important because of this property that any subset is not a defensive alliance. So if you remove a single vertex from the alliance, then it will not remain a defensive alliance. So every member in the alliance is important. So that's the motivation behind looking for the maximum size minimal defensive alliance. So here you can see that, so this is a tree, and you can see that we have a defensive alliance of size 3 here, sorry, minimal defensive alliance of size 3 here. You can see that everything is protected. A is protected because it has 3 neighbors, including itself in S, and 3 neighbors outside. And the same thing is true for C also, 2 neighbors inside, 2 outside, 2 inside, 2 outside for B also. So this form a minimal defensive alliance, because if you any proper subset of this set is not a defensive alliance, right? Because if you move C from the defensive alliance to outside defensive alliance, then you can see that this A and B are no more protected. So any subset is not a defensive alliance. And the optimum, so the optimization problem that we consider here is that we look for a maximum size minimal defensive alliance now. And this is formally the statement of the problem, that you are given a graph G and an integer K, and is there a minimal defensive alliance of size greater than or equal to K? Okay, so what is known about this problem is that, again, this problem is NP complete, even for graph of degree 3 or 4. And what we consider here is that once some problem is NP complete in general graph, then what we do is that we look for special instances where the problem can be solved in polynomial time, or we can solve it efficiently. So what we can do here is that we can solve the same problem, this MMDA problem, in polynomial time on trees. If the input instance is a tree, then the problem can be solved in polynomial time. But in general, it is not true. And then also we look at the parameterized complexity of this problem. So so this is something must be new for this, or I mean for today maybe. So MMDA is W1 har when parameterized by tree width of the graph. So I'll talk about what is tree width, what is W1 har. I'll introduce these terms later on. And also we prove that this problem is fixed parameter tractable when parameterized by the neighborhood diversity. So these are the structural parameter of the input graph. And for neighborhood diversity, the problem is fixed parameter tractable. And for the tree width, the problem is W1 har. So these are the different classes in the parameterized complexity. And also we finally prove that this problem, so given a vertex R, deciding if G contain G has a minimal defensive alliance contain this vertex R is NP complete. I mean, even we are not looking for maximum size minimal defensive alliance here. We're just asking the question, given a graph, given a vertex R, whether there is a minimal defensive alliance containing that vertex R. This problem is even NP complete. So that also we prove at the end. Now, as I said, that I'll sort of introduce what is parameterized complexity. So in the classical complexity, we compute when we are solving a problem, the complexity of the problem. I mean, the time requirement. So again, in computational complexity, the time is the number of basic operations we need to solve that problem. Okay, so this computation of time complexity in the classical complexity theory is only a function of n, which is the input size. So if it is a graph problem, then so the time complexity is computed in terms of the number of vertices and the number of edges in the graph. So but in the parameterized complexity, we express this time complexity in terms of the input size n and the parameter k. Okay, so what is this parameter? So n is the input size and k is a parameter. Now, there is no strict rule about what could be your parameter. I mean, you can choose your parameter to be anything. Like here, I list some of the options. Like the parameter could be the solution size. Like here, I'm looking for a maximum size minimal defensive alliance. So I am asking the question whether, given a graph, whether I have, whether it has a minimal defensive alliance of size k. So k could be, the solution size could be a parameter. And sometime I'm the maximum degree of the input graph. So these are the structural parameter, like maximum degree of the input graph could be a parameter. Neighborhood diversity, tree width or click width of the input graph could be a parameter. So parameter could be anything, but what is expected is that this parameter is much smaller than the input size. Okay. So now I'll try to explain what is this FPT algorithm and W1 or XP algorithm using some example. So vertex cover is a very classic problem in graph theory or in the optimization. What is vertex cover? So given it's a set of vertices which cover all the edges of the graph. So here you consider this graph. You can see that this vertex, it covers this these 5 edges, and then this edge is not covered by any vertex. So you have to include one more vertex to cover this edge. So in total, you can see that these 2 vertices cover all the edges of this graph. So these 2 vertices form a vertex cover for this graph. And similarly, you can see that these 3 vertices forms a vertex cover of this graph. And these are the minimum. So the problem, vertex cover problem, is a minimization problem. You know, given a graph, you have to find the smallest set of vertices which cover all the edges of the graph. Okay, so this is a very classic minimization problem. So we look for minimum vertex cover. So the problem statement is this: given a graph G and an integer k, is it possible to cover the edges with k vertices? That's the question that we ask, or at most k vertices, because it's a minimization problem. Now, this problem is NP complete. There is no efficient algorithm. When I say efficient algorithm, that means there is no polynomial time algorithm to solve this, to find the minimum vertex cover. So what you can do is that, if the question is that whether the graph has a vertex cover of size k, you can try out all possible k subsets and see whether that set of k vertices is covering all the edges or not. So you have n choose k possible choices of vertices of size k, so that's order of n to the power of k. That's a complete enumeration. So this is of course, but what we can do is that there is something called branching technique. So using branching technique, you can answer the same problem in 2 to the power of k, order of 2 to the power of k into n square time. So what is, so something to note here is that now we can see that the time complexity has become quadratic in the input size. It's n square. And there is a function 2 to the power of k, it's exponential function in parameter. So we are happy about this one because generally the parameter is small so if it is a tree width or click width, generally the parameters are very small. And then I can see that my time complexity is something like a f of k into n to the power of c, where c is some constant. That means the complexity become polynomial in input size, but it is again multiplied by some computation function of k. So it's fk into n to the power of c form. If we get algorithm of this form for an NP complete problem with respect to some parameter, then we call that this is an fixed parameter tractable algorithm, and we're happy about this one, that the problem is FPT. But for some problem, so this is vertex cover is an NP complete problem. Similarly, click is also finding a maximum click in a graph. So what is a click in a graph? So given a graph, so the click is the maximal complete subgraph of a graph. Okay, so you can see that this is the maximal subgraph, which is complete also. That means every pair of vertices in this subgraph are adjacent to each other. So this is a clique. So this graph has a clique of size 3, and that's the maximum clique size. Okay, you don't have a clique of size 4 here. So given a graph, arbitrary graph, find the question that you're asking is that given a graph and an integer, does G contain a clique of size K? So it's a hard problem to answer that whether the graph has a clique of size K or not. And it is known that this problem is NP complete. And what you can do about this problem, again, you just try out all K subsets and see whether the K subset that you have selected, whether that's form a clique, that's a complete subgraph or not. So this can be done in sort of, so you have to try out all possible K subsets. That's order of n to the power of K. That's a complete enumeration. And then for every K subset, you check whether there are edges between every pair of vertices. That requires order of K square time. So this can be solved in K square into n to the power of order of K time. But what is, and there is nothing better than this one actually. So we don't know anything better than this one. But the difference between the vertex cover and this one is that vertex cover, we had something like n squared here. This is 2 to the power of K, exponentially in K, but we had n squared, n to the power of C, some constant here. But here we don't have that. We have n to the power of order of K. So that's why this problem is not a fixed parameter. So this clique problem does not have FPT algorithm, right? So this is in the class W1 hard because of this n to the power of K, and that's a conjecture that the problem is most probably not FPT then. Okay, so this is sort of different. There are many other classes W1, W2 in parameterized complexity, but I'll stop my introduction with parameterized complexity here because these are the two classes I need for my talk. Now I again go back to my problem that there's maximum size minimal defensive alliance. And I'll sort of try to characterize if it is, what are the necessary and necessary condition and what are the sufficient condition for a subset to be a minimal defensive alliance. So if S is a minimal defensive alliance of size at least 2 in G, then S is connected and S can't contain a vertex of degree 1. So these are the necessary condition for that S must satisfy, that S can't be disconnected, right? So let me consider this tree again and consider these 4 sets of vertices, B, C, and G, I. Now you can see that the subgraph induced by these 4 vertices, it's a disconnected graph, right? And this is not a minimal defensive alliance. It's a defensive alliance maybe because everything is protected. B is protected. I can see it has 2 neighbors inside, 2 neighbors outside. G is also protected. Everyone is protected, but this is not a minimal defensive alliance because a proper subset of this one is also a defensive alliance because BG is also a defensive alliance. So BCGI, this does not form a minimal defensive alliance, right? So they can't be the subgraph induced by the element of S must be connected. Okay, the other thing these are easy observation but important. The other thing is that this S can't contain a vertex of degree 1. Let me consider this as this is a defensive alliance, but this is not a minimal defensive alliance because you can see that PZ is a defensive alliance, but Z is also a defensive alliance. Suppose I move P out of S, then S has one neighbor out. Sorry, Z has one neighbor outside and one neighbor inside. So Z is still protected. So that's true. I mean, if a defensive alliance contain a vertex of degree 1, then this is not going to be a minimal defensive alliance. Okay, so these are the 2 necessary conditions, and then we have this sufficient condition that if a non-empty set S is connected and every vertex V is marginally protected. I'll say what is marginally protected. Then S is a minimal defensive alliance. This is a mistake here. Just omit this global term. So then S is a minimal defensive alliance in G. Okay, so if S is connected and every element in S is marginally protected, then these are the sufficient condition for S to be a minimal defensive alliance. It's not difficult to see this, but before that, I'll say what is marginal protection. But these are not the necessary condition. I'll explain that. So what is marginal protection? So here you can see that, okay, this is a minimal defensive alliance, X, Y, U1, U2. These four sets, these four vertices forms a minimal defensive alliance. And I can see that X is marginally protected because X has 4 neighbors in S and 3 neighbors outside S. So if the number of neighbors in S is at most 1 more than the number of neighbors outside, the difference could be at most 1. I mean, the number of neighbors inside S could be at most 1 higher than the number of neighbors outside S, then the vertex is said to be marginally protected. Or in other words, I can say that if I move one vertex from S to outside S, then this vertex will not remain protected, right? Because in that case, if I move B2 outside S, then the number of neighbors in X will be 3. Number of neighbors inside S for X will be 3, and outside it will be 4, so it's not protected. So if you move one vertex from S to outside S, then some vertex will become unprotected. Then it's not a marginal protection. Okay. Okay. So, but this is certainly is not a necessary condition, because here you can see that these 2 vertices are marginally protected because they have 4 neighbors inside and 3 neighbors outside. But U1 and U2 are not marginally protected because they have all the neighbors are inside S. They don't have any neighbor outside, so they're strong, sort of overprotected. Okay, so these are the sufficient condition, but not necessary condition for set to be minimal defensive alliance. Now, as I said that we'll give a polynomial time algorithm to find maximum size minimal defensive alliance in tree. But it's a good thing about this tree is that so let T be a tree, then a set S is a minimal defensive alliance of size at least 2 in T if and only if S is connected and every vertex of S is marginally protected. So this condition, the sufficient condition for the general graph, is also a necessary condition for tree. So we have a necessary and sufficient condition for a subset to be minimal defensive alliance in tree, and this is helpful to design our polynomial time algorithm on tree. So there's something called the dynamic programming that is a very powerful technique to design algorithm. And dynamic programming can be nicely applied on tree. I mean, I'll tell, okay, let me just first state a few states of a vertex. Like, so vertex V is having state 0 if vertex V is not in the solution. So that means the state of the vertex is 0. And vertex V having state 1C, that means 1 stands for it is in the solution. And it is marginally protected by its children only. And the parent of V is not in the solution. But V itself is in the solution. So see, once V is in the solution, it has to be marginally protected because that is a necessary and sufficient condition for every vertex inside the solution for a tree. And similarly, 1P, that means the vertex V is in the solution, and it is marginally protected by its parent and children. That means its parent is in the solution. So maybe I'm just assuming that these terms are known. For a vertex V, this is the root of the tree. For a vertex V, the parent of vertex V is this node, and it has 2 children. So these are the 2 children of vertex V. So what we do here in the dynamic programming now is that we solve this problem in a smaller instance. So what we do is that there's something called the subtree hanging at V. So if you take any vertex V, I'll just define what is subtree hanging at V. You take any vertex V of the tree, and then the subtree hanging at V is this subtree, the highlighted subtree. If I take this vertex, then the subtree hanging at V is this. So what I'll do is that we'll solve our original problem in smaller instances. So what we'll do is that mostly it is done in the dynamic programming, is that we'll solve the problem for a very small instance. Like I'll consider my V to be the leaf nodes of the tree. So I'll consider the subtree hanging at a leaf node. So I consider this as my V at the beginning, and then solve my problem there. So if I consider subtree hanging at this vertex, the tree is basically consisting of one vertex, right? This vertex itself. And I have to solve my problem on this graph, which is consisting of only one vertex. So given a graph with only one vertex, I have to sort of solve my problem. And then, so I'll do that for all the leaf node initially, and then slowly we'll go for the non-leaf node, right? And for the non-leaf node, what I'll do is that I'll sort of find a recursive relation which is based on the solution. So when I come here, I have solved my problem for this node, or not this node, for the subtree hanging on this node, then the subtree hanging on this node, subtree hanging on this node. So I have solved for all these subtrees before I come here, and I'll use the solution of these 2 subtrees to solve the problem for a bigger subtrees. Okay, so this is what the technique used in dynamic programming. So this is what I define here, is that AVS is the size of the largest minimal defensive alliance of the subtree rooted at V when the state of V is S. Okay, so this is so for every subtree hanging on some vertex, say V, I'll compute this number. So I'll see what is the maximum size minimal defensive alliance when the state of the vertex is S. So, and I have 3 states basically. So this is how the algorithm works. And then finally, I'll consider the subtree hanging at the root node, which is basically the original instance for me. And when I come to here, I have the solution for this subtree and this subtree. So I use the solution of these 2 subtrees to solve the problem for the final instance. So this is the idea behind the dynamic programming. So you define your subproblem nicely on a smaller instance, and you use the solution of the subtrees of the smaller instance to solve the problem for the original instance. Okay, so so for leaf node, this is very easy. So V is a leaf node. So you understood that the tree that we are considering is just consisting of only one vertex. And if I don't consider that vertex in my defensive alliance, then the maximum size minimal defensive alliance is basically it has size 0, and these 2 are minus infinity because if there is no minimal defensive alliance with that state, then it is minus infinity. Because see, I said that the minimal defensive alliance can't contain a vertex of degree 1. So I can't include a degree 1 vertex in my solution. So that's why I put this is minus infinity because it's a maximization problem. Okay, so for non-leaf node, let me consider a non-leaf node V. And when I come to this point, suppose I'm computing, so I want to compute AV0, the state is 0. That means this vertex itself is not part of my solution. But I have solution, I know AV1, I know AV2 for all the states. And then I use that to find the solution for the subtree hanging at V. Now, one thing to observe that we know that this minimal defensive alliance can't be disconnected, right? So if this vertex is not there in my solution, I can't pick both of them, both the subtree. I have to pick the best subtree. Okay, so I'll just look at which subtree is good for me, and good in the sense, I mean, which has the maximum, which is a larger minimal defensive alliance. So I'll pick that one. So that is done here basically. Okay, you see which one is the maximum. So here it is just 2 children, but it can have many children. So you see for all the children and see for which it is the maximum, and you consider that. So this is for the 0 state, and similarly for the okay. So I don't have time much, right? Okay. Okay.
So couple of minutes is fine.
Oh, couple of minutes. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So okay, fine. Then similarly, I have recurrence relation for the non-leaf node with 1p state and 1c states, and you can see that these are like, you know, based on the previous for solution for its children. And this is how we can solve for all the nodes, and then finally for the root node, and that will give me the solution. And I'm not going to the detailed time complexity. It will take order of E log V time, and which is like a polynomial time algorithm. Now I'll just briefly tell what is a neighborhood diversity. Okay, so we say 2 vertices U and V have they are of the same type if they have the same neighbor basically. You can see that this graph, these 2 vertices have the same neighbor basically. So they are of the same type. These 2 green vertices are of the same type. So because they have the same neighbor. Now, from this, I can construct a type graph. And in my type graph, the big nodes are consisting of vertices which are of the same type. And there is an adjacency rule also you can see from here. Now, what is the beauty of, so the original graph has n vertices. Now, if I know that the neighborhood diversity of my graph is k, then I know that the number of vertices in my type graph is k. So I have reduced my sort of, you know, from n vertices, I have a new graph which has only k vertices. And this is helpful for me because now I have to deal with a graph with k vertices, which is the parameter of the problem. And then I just decide how many vertex I'll choose in my minimal defensive alliance from this this big node. Let me call this xi from the ith big node, and then I have xi many. Sorry, then I have k many variables, and then this k many variables basically decides the ILP for me. It's a maximization problem. So I'll see how I can maximize this summation xi with many constant, complicated constants, such that the selected vertices form a minimal defensive alliance. And I know that this integer linear programming can be solved in FPT time, where FPT time in the number of variables. And here the number of variables is basically the neighborhood diversity of the graph. So we can solve the problem in FPT time, the same problem in FPT time when the parameter is a neighborhood diversity. That's a good news for us because we always look for a FPT algorithm. I don't have time, so we also proved that given a graph and a vertex R, whether there is a minimal defensive alliance containing R. I'm not looking for a maximum size minimal defensive alliance anymore, but still this problem is NP complete. And you know, to prove a problem is NP complete, we have to find a polynomial time reduction from another NP complete problem. So here we have considered clique on regular graph, which is clique problem even on regular graph is NP complete. And from a clique on regular graph to our problem, we gave a polynomial time reduction, and then we proved that these 2 instances are equivalent. So yes instance implies yes here, and yes here implies yes there. So that's why our problem is NP complete because clique on regular graph is NP complete. This is my last, this is a very, so tree width is another very popular structural parameter. And we often consider tree width as a parameter for our problem. And what is tree width? Briefly, maybe 1 minute. Is it okay, Chandrasinh?
Sorry, your time is almost up. Maybe in a minute's time.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So, so the tree width is basically, representing a graph in the form of a tree, basically. So here you can see that this is the representation of this graph in the form of tree. Of course, it satisfies some property that if there is an edge here, then there must be a bag which contain B and C. Here you can see that this contain B and C, and the subtree you consider any particular vertex, the subtree induced by those bag containing F. You can see that this is a subtree basically. Well, so I'm sorry about this. So tree with this is called the tree decomposition of this graph, and we look for a tree decomposition which has the minimum bag size. Okay, so it's a very nice and important parameter, structural parameter, and we proved that our problem is W1 hard. That means with respect to the parameter tree width, and that means there is no FPT algorithm with respect to tree width. And here is, I just listed some of the parameters which are generally studied in parameterized complexity. So you have proved that with respect to the neighborhood diversity, the problem is FPT. And that implies that vertex cover is a larger parameter. So it is also FPT with respect to vertex cover. And for these three parameters, we have proved that the problem is W1 hard. So the problem remains open. I mean, whether this is FPT, W1 hard, W2 hard, whatever, with respect to the other parameters like click width and modular width. Okay. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Okay, thank you, Somen, for a nice talk.
Thank you.
Yeah, any questions? Okay, so if there are no more questions, let's give an applause to the speaker so we can do it virtually.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, so Apurva, can you stop the recording, please?